All right, Mom just read 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Do you have emotional reaction to that, Mom?
Yeah, I do, and there's just a few words here that fit in with what we were talking about, when the mortal puts on the immortal.
Mm-hmm.
But when perfection comes, the imperfect disappears. That's what I was trying to say back there.
Yep. It's funny. I These two passages, the previous passage, the previous Bible chat where you read Exodus 7, and then this one,
Uh-huh.
First Corinthians 13. They were just part of my daily. They might have been on the same day of one of my daily Bible sessions. Basically, I listen to the Bible every day. Well, not every day, but frequently, and it goes through about four different sections of the Bible in each day. So you're going through Genesis, you're going through like a New Testament book, you're going through Psalms, and then the prophets or something. So you get little snippets, and both of those passages might have been on the same day, but they struck me as central or as kind of related to what I'm going through and what this thing you and I are going through is about. Like when you were talking, I completely forgot that those things were in First Corinthians 13. We were talking about these things, and it's just like this callback. Oh, like this was it was almost like God programming our weekly episodes. Like this is what we're going to talk about. And
Yeah.
they're going to kind of string together, and they're going to kind of reinforce one another. Because when you were reading that, I'm like, oh, that's like totally confirming a lot of the speculations I was having in those previous episodes, right?
Yeah. Right.
um,
Interesting.
there's there's so much because we were talking about knowing being a characteristic function of humans, right? Pursuing knowledge. And right there in First Corinthians 13, the love chapter,
You're
talks about,
breaking up.
right there in First Corinthians chapter 13, which is known as the love chapter, it talks about knowing. I mean, knowing in part, and then we will know in full or whatever, and then when the mortal puts on the immortal, all of the things we've been talking about.
Right.
There's a passage, and I basically I live by this passage. Maybe it should be a separate segment, but I'll say it here because it applies at all times. There's that passage that says, "Don't." I should find where it is. It says, "Don't worry about what you will say.
Mm-hmm.
When the time comes, the Spirit will give you the words to say," or something like that. It's like a principle of spontaneity. It's a principle
Yeah.
of when your heart is in the right place, trust that you're going to say the right things. That that
I pray that way a lot.
right? And I've thought a lot about it before I ever launched these channels. It's like, oh, I am actually going to be putting my face and my voice and my thoughts into permanent digital format and out there, vulnerable to be judged and criticized, critiqued, and pulled apart and misused. Like the technology could take the words I'm saying and put them in a different order and make me say other things. It's like literally where technology is going. People could replicate my face and take my voice and synthesize it and turn my words against me. And so
Yeah.
it's like you have to trust if you're doing something that you believe God wants you to do, you just have to trust that the words you're going to say will be at least close enough to the truth that people will agree with you, right? I think,
Oh, I know what you're saying.
I think,
I even. Okay, go ahead.
no, say it.
Well, no, even with our videos that we make, or I had an event that took place this morning that just I sobbed for 2 hours. and talking with a friend on the internet, and I ask God, before I speak another word, let these words be your words, not my words. Or if they're my words, anoint the words. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Because I know I can't trust my mouth.
Well,
I mean,
that's the the tongue. The power of life and death is in the tongue, right?
for sure.
And people just don't understand what that means. It's if you persuade people with your tongue to kill other people, you have created death with your tongue, right? If you
Well, yeah.
if you instill fear in people and tell them that if you're in a position of authority, you have the ability to kill people with the words that you say. So,
Mm-hmm.
but you also have the ability to speak the truth, which will result in life. Like if you just speak the truth, there will be less death, basically. Um,
Yeah.
hmm,
Well, that's why I loved the book of John. Look
yeah,
at the very first words. In the beginning was the Word.
the concept, the notion, the meaning, right? Word, and that's what it is. Like meaning existed. Like in the beginning was the ability to comprehend or have knowledge, right?
Right.
Knowledge. We keep getting back to that word. What is a word? A word is knowledge. There's no such thing as an animal that writes a word, right? There's no words for chimpanzees. Even you can teach them gestures and stuff, but they don't come up with meaning. They don't come up with.
Right.
They don't create, right? And
Well, they're just parroting.
yeah, we, we we could just keep doing this and just go and go and go. We've got to chop this up. All right. So mom and I get to babble on. We just talked. I don't know. We read. I had her.
Babylon. I'm not in Babylon.
No. You know, I can take me on another tangent. And I'm not going to let you hijack this. I'm trying to wrap this up here. But mom and I can go on as many tangents as we want. Forget we're even recording. It's called a conversation. But somebody has to keep on top of this thing, this format, and there'll be a few people who watch all of this and just roll their eyes at these crazy people. But it should put a smile on your face, and that's all we want to do is put a smile on your face. So if you want me, see, mom's fine. She's set. She can sit there and she's in her spot. She's got her world around her that she's happy with right now. I need to pay bills, so go to the GoFundMe that's linked in the description. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.